Hello, everybody. Yeah, I am quite aware that I haven't actually posted in forever. I'm quite aware that I have facial hair on my face right now, and that not only do I have facial hair, but it looks like I just escaped out of some facility for weird, crazy people. There's facial hair on the area where my mustache should be, and there is facial hair on the bottom of my chin, but there's nothing in between. And I'm growing it out to see if there is something in between. And it's been a couple weeks and nothing's growing there. So, the options that I have is to either let the mustache grow long enough to where it actually hits the bottom of my chin, or look like a soy jack for the rest of my life. So I think the an alternative title for this video would be Soy Jack complains for 10 minutes. Right. I've had so many YouTube journaling channels. Like, it's so weird how it was like a thing that came and went, came and went. And I attribute a lot of that to the sort of motivational swings that I get when starting new projects, where I'm super hyper excited about it for a while, but then after like a bit, it just becomes boring. And I've learned that the most active ingredient in my life, the most beneficial thing that I could use to my advantage, is actually realizing perhaps that I don't have to consistently work on projects. I can just stop for a couple weeks or a couple months and get back at it. In fact, that's like the most productive way for me to work. That is the best like pattern that I've ever found myself in. It's how I'm able to truly focus on stuff. And whenever I don't do this, whenever I press myself full charge, full throttle at something, that's when everything seems to go belly up. Because it's much like actually. Am I going to complain about my peers in my classes? It's much like people that you commonly see, like younger people, like the kind of people that I've seen for years as a university student. And they have constantly, just constantly, these push and pull dynamics with people where they have a very good friendship or relationship with someone at first, where it's like they're like, oh my God, this is my best friend, this is my life partner, this is the person that I was always meant for, greatest person ever. And then after a few weeks or a few months, they just hate them, right? Because it's like all that novelty is built upon at once. They get hyper obsessed with this person, and then they're gone with them later. That's no problem. It's like moving on to the next one, right? A lot of people I've seen do this, a lot. Um, and I think a lot of that does really come from like patterns that you develop very early on. But it's something that I see frequently at this age, and I attribute it to emotional immaturity. Because I don't know how it is for many people, but I've never had many like short-term bonds with others, right? The friends that I can name right now, the friends that are closest to me, are friends I've had for 5 or 6 or 7 years at this point. Like, I hate the person that I was back when I became friends with these people. And these people hate the people that they were back when I became friends with them. But you establish these healthy growing patterns in the beginning and you grow alongside them. And I think that's really beautiful. And I think much the same logic that applies to interpersonal relationships applies to, our daily lives in so many different aspects that seem convoluted and unrelated at first, but are actually quite digestibly related. Some examples of stuff like that that we see, perhaps, is not only through projects, through this burnout, the same burnout that you see between people and in their interpersonal relationships and friendships and romantic relationships, applying to when you start something new. But you actually do tend to see that even your own happiness, right? Let's say the happiness of buying this Ripper juiced monster that I bought from what was it? What's the name of the store? I'm having like a total blank out today. I don't know if it is because I drank too much caffeine or whatever. Oh, Sainsbury's. Right. So this Ripper juiced monster that I bought from Sainsbury's 30 minutes ago. Yes, I am in England right now. Thanks. Another lore update. I'm still in England. I've been in England for a while. I'm not even sure if I posted a video in the last year, but yeah, for the past year I've been living in England. Um, the happiness of me buying this thing was so like high within the first 5 minutes where I was just like, yes, I want to spend 2 or 3 of my hard-earned pounds buying this monster overpriced at a Sainsbury's when I could buy a six pack for like 4.99 pounds or 5.99 quid, right? It's so important to me. I want that caffeine hit. I want my brain to not be able to process thoughts normally, and I want to like get all fidgety today, right? And do these like weird motions because of how much caffeine I've had. But now, 30 minutes later, I'm just like, okay, this is my monster. I'm sipping it, whatever. Hey, this is my water bottle. When I get tired of the monster, I'll just start drinking out of the water bottle. It's like, whatever. Like, what? Who cares? Right? So I've just sort of morphed myself into, I don't know, not caring, I suppose. Well, I guess that happens naturally, right? So you think about these things and you're just like, excited about them for a while, and then that feeling naturally goes away. And that's definitely what I've been feeling about the things that are currently in my life. And that is objectively how I felt about living in England, actually. I was super hyper excited by it in the honeymoon period of like 3 or 4 months where it's just like I love this country. And now it's just like, get a couple quid, get on a bus. There's a guy wanking next to me. Pull up to the fucking what do you call it? Aldi, right? We have Aldi in the US as well, whatever. Pull up to the Aldi, buy some stuff, go to the Sainsbury's, take the bus again, go to the train station, go to another city, go to Weatherspoons because there's a Weatherspoons in every city here. Get the same old like pint of Stella Artois. Um, walk out, you know, smoke in the middle of the car park like a dickhead. It's like life is just sort of like the same for an extended period of time. And that rubs at you because in those first, I guess, couple weeks, everything seems all right and perfect, and then it dwindles down. And I think because I've been thinking about this so much, um, a part of this journey of discovering this has been me learning that I should deal with truth, that I should deal with these values of honesty and not lying, not purposely deceiving people. I should deal with these values of honor and integrity that I have lacked in so far in my life. I think the greatest step to actual improvement is self-acknowledgement. And the greatest mistake that I probably ever made while trying to start up my previous video journaling YouTube channels is constantly pressing myself to end every video off of a moral because I wanted to provide some value to the people or the viewer that was watching it, which is something that I still aim to do. But I pressured myself into it so much that I made videos and then hoped that a moral would come along the way instead of starting off and having something valuable to teach and then teaching that to people. I'm not even making any money off of this, nor am I expecting anyone to watch it. I'm mostly doing this for myself because when I think back to the videos that I made on my previous video journaling channels, or I go for like my old archives on my laptop, I think to myself like, man, like these were so cool. I wish I still had them all in one place that I could compare and contrast myself at different stages of my life, what I was thinking, what I was feeling. maybe show this to my future children someday when my son is growing up. Who knows? Honestly, by that time they'll probably make like anime girls real, and he'll just be getting like a hand job from like Makima or something. So probably won't be too interested in whatever I have to offer in terms of my life advice from the age-old times of 2025, but I still do reflect and look back upon the videos I made in 2023 and 2024 and the morals that I put forward for people then, and I'm just like, I never followed up on them. Like, I made these videos talking about how great it is to go to the gym and just stopped going to the gym. Literally gave up on it, right? I made these videos about how not to be a dickhead, and then I look back, and in the past 2 years of my personal life, frequently when someone upset me, I was just being a dickhead. And I see this in a lot of content create. Fucking hate that word. YouTubers, people who post videos on the internet, right? I see that in a lot of people who share their progress in their lives online, where they're talking out of their ass and they're just like, hey, like I always hold myself up to this standard. I'm so disciplined, and then it's just all it takes is 5 minutes of that person being lazy for that entire grand illusion that they built up to shatter before people's eyes, and quickly these people fall off. They fall off from their former grace, right? Um, and not only that, but it's so far like every single year that comes by, and YouTube has been around. Like I see videos of my recommendations, and it's like 17 posted 17 years ago. I'm like, holy fuck, because in my brain I'm like still stuck in like 2016. I'm like, holy fuck, this video was posted in 1999, and then I'm like, wait a second, no, it wasn't. I'm an idiot. Like video wasn't posted in 1999. It's 2025, so 17 years ago would have been like 2008. That was after TF2 came out. Holy shit, TF2 is 18 years old. Holy shit, what am I doing with my life? Anyways, right, there's a lot of these people who have gone by and they have come and went. If anybody remembers the guy was like pointing to, so I'm gonna do the soy jack pose now. He was like doing the soy jack to his Lamborghini, and then and then he had books behind him. Ty Lopez, right? And he was just like, the most powerful thing in the world is knowledge. I don't care about this car. I care about these books. And then some shit happened, and people realized that he really wasn't who he said he was. I don't quite remember what happened. But he blew up for a while. And every single year that's gone by since Ty Lopez made that video in like 2010, 2011, or whatever, uh, 2012 or 2013 it might have been. What I heard, OG Andrew Tate, except bald and Indian, right? And with glasses. Well, I can't be talking. Anyways, um, this guy. Also, this is not my usual haircut, so just so you know. But this guy like had this entire flair about him, but people didn't trust him because they knew that something was off, and they were right about that. So every single year that has gone by since, people have learned that whenever someone presents themselves as infallible, they're most often dishonest. And every single year, that strategy, even if you don't do anything to disprove those allegations, and you wake up at 5 a.m. every morning, just how you say in your morning routine video, and you never get drunk and you never do anything, you're just like a super pious man. Within time, even if there's no filth in your life that is piling up and leading you to atrophy at the same time, within a certain amount of time, people will still negatively reflect upon you because they're so used to people like you disappointing them. And eventually, you'll go down with the rest of the ship. You'll go down with the ship. Because as trust in people who present themselves as perfect falls off, every year when you have the evil eye shit, where it's just like people look at you so jealously because of how disciplined you are and they bully you into oblivion, your life just gets your life just does get worse, objectively speaking. So I guess I made this video not to ramble on for 15 minutes about random unrelated shit, but to extrapolate a story, a congruent thesis out of everything that I just talked about. There is a lot of value in looking into the long term, planning things out, having that level of integrity, having that level of purpose, of recognizing that you should work on your own timeline. And instead of giving you a moral or just saying be honest at the end of the video, which you already knew from the beginning, I'll tell you something that I think is the most one of the most valuable things and lessons I've ever heard in my entire life. Are you ready? Every 6 months, give yourself a 6 month time frame. Just try this or think about it. Give yourself a 6 month time frame and then evaluate yourself by your actions in those 6 months. Evaluate yourself by the things that you do within those 6 months. You know, if you have something that you want to accomplish, you put down the goal, the 6 month timeline, and the things you must do every day. If you skip out on those daily things, then obviously you're not going to accomplish whatever you want. If you don't skip out on them, you'll at least be closer than you started out with, which many may consider a win, as then you'll learn how to actually begin climbing, and then you have more experience in starting to do the daily tasks that get you to the top. You'll have experience in trying, which is valuable in of itself, which I guess was the skill of my previous video journaling channels. But even when you're not tending towards a specific goal, you just want to have some level of value in your life. You want to choose the values that you live by. And then you need to abide by those values, or you want to abide by those values, no matter what people think or say, or how they try to throw you off and make you like them or make you vengeful. If you decide that you're going to love someone, like properly, whether you're in a relationship with them, whether they're your friend, whether you're your family, you need to decide that you'll do that no matter what they say or do. You need for everything that you do to be unconditional. And the mistake that a lot of people make is that they see that this doesn't work and they see opportunities to get their way. They don't exercise them. They see that they lose some chances along the way to possibly gain an advantage in life. And even sometimes they end up losing people because there's a lot of dishonest people that just don't like honesty. Like if you meet someone and they're so unused to unconditional love, they're so unused to proper communication, they're so unused to talking things out and forgiveness and traits like that. Um, it just becomes a hassle for them to get along with you because there's such a pattern disconnect in how you and that person are. The key differences between the two of you. I feel like this is also a pattern that applies to a lot of things in life. And I'm not saying ideally you should be with someone that is exactly like you. Some of the best friendships I've ever had was with people that are somewhat like myself, but not quite. Um, some of the best connections in life, I would say, in general, are with people that are kind of like you, but have like their distinct own things. Because think about how sweet that is in a relationship. Like, let's say you're like a country boy and you're dating a emo girl who's not completely crazy. Do you know how sweet it is to imagine like such a couple and the girl gives him a cowboy hat for his birthday and then the guy gives her like a Hello Kitty necklace for her birthday and they're both like complimenting each other's, unique personalities and needs while they both, enjoy taking rides in a car or playing a specific game together or they like going to concerts by the same artist. They both like rap music or something. Um, they both like reading books. They both like doom scrolling on TikTok and send each other funny cat reels, like stuff like that. It's nice to have something like that because there is a level of connection and there is a level of disconnection between people. And it's also a hassle when someone is too much in your face and they don't really understand boundaries. That is also like one of the best, times to walk away, especially actually if it is a platonic friendship. Because if someone can't respect your boundaries in a platonic friendship, then it's like you're cooked. Um, you're quite literally cooked. Like that is the foundation of what makes platonic friendships beneficial. And if you can't have a friendship, then you can't have any other relationship. A friendship, an acquaintanceship, more of like not a friendship that has developed over the years, but someone that you know and that you can consider a friend. That's the foundation for all of the ordinary things in life. I don't know if this is like too wise for a 20-year-old. Maybe I'm just stroking my own dick. But even like a business partnership, even like a family bond, friendship is what underlines it. Like at the end of the day, saying you're my family doesn't mean anything when that person has been a dickhead to you their entire life. Um, so it's not all in the family. Hmm. And I think when you do analyze these things, when you do really look into it, what makes people tick, what makes people excited, what makes people mad, sad, happy, and you find yourself in this situation where you're quite conflicted about what to believe or what to think. You always need to look on the side of being truthful to your own values. So, as I said at the beginning of this video, I have a value where it is most efficient for me to work in a process of where I work a little bit on something and then I stop. I work a little bit on something and then I stop. And so just sort of Pomodoro techniquing this whole thing, except instead of it being 15 minutes of playing and 20 minutes of work the entire day to make yourself more productive in the beginning, it's like um, 3 months of making videos and writing and being productive and working on research and studying different skill sets and going to the gym. And in 2 months of chronic depression and in 2 months of mental illness. And then back, maybe this time I'll do 4 months of productivity. Then the next cycle I'll do like 2 months. It's just this like extended period of growing. And I don't find it to be, contracting to my life at all because I find that this entire process is what helps me grow. It's truly, what helps me gain a hold over myself and become a whole new different person, as I hope that this channel has documented over however long it's been up. Um, but yeah, no, like this stuff like helps. It helps to know that you've made it for a specific path for a specific period. And for me, that also reflects my speech patterns because, I present the topic and then I come back to it. Even while trying to illustrate the point that it affects my speech patterns, you saw a live demonstration of it affecting my speech patterns. I was reflecting on how, I mentioned something in the past, um, and then I wanted to exasperate, I guess, um, how that's something that I mentioned in the past applies here. I've created, okay, if you're confused, don't worry, but I've created like a little paradox in my head where I've got it all tangled now. You see what I mean, though, right? Like this pattern of working for a little bit and then resting for a little bit and then working for a little bit again is something that I even do in conversations when I come back to topics and then try to manually like sort them around. It's not all clean cut. I would have to have a bullet point list in front of me in order to make it clean cut, which I probably should do at some point. Some paper would be nice. But truthfully, like, yeah, this applies in the case of making your own values because one of my fundamental values that I didn't even choose, it's just how I am as a person, is that I am very on and off. I am super excited to work on a project and then I stop. And if I was 10 years old, they'd probably give me ADHD pills and tell me that, I was mentally deficient in some way or another. But as I've matured into adulthood, I found that it's not a symptom of neurodivergence as much as I like to think. It's merely a symptom of how I present myself to the world. And a lot of people don't like that inconsistency because they find that it doesn't favor them naturally in their daily lives. When people around them are sort of inconsistent, you can't really get a job and show up to work one day, not show up to work on the other day. But it's made me feel better about myself. And every single cycle that I've gone through, usually the productivity little part of it gets more efficient, more mentally healthy every single time. So at the very beginning, like a couple years ago, I was just bed rotting all day, and then I would have a little bump in productivity, start a project, never finish it, start another project, something like that. Some people do that their entire lives. For me, you know, those cycles of productivity have grown longer, and the 2 month like quote unquote depression stage, I call it, that's really just a vacation. It's a vacation of me doom scrolling on Instagram or on YouTube for a little bit. And as I'm trying to pull away from some of the temptations that I have, from some of the bad habits and addictions that I've made and manufactured throughout the years, those depressive stages get less depressive too. So I do. That's the real definition of working on yourself. It's not this TikTok manifestation girly bullshit where it's just like, oh, like you need to educate yourself and you need to take care of yourself and take a bath, queen. It's like, no. Working on yourself just means optimizing your life to the degree where most painful fucking things that happen to you on a daily basis are removed. And you do that one by one, and you fail along the way, and you relapse, and you do things that are harmful for you. You self sabotage. That's a normal human thing, and people are going to care for you regardless. If they're good people with a consistent, attention style. If their affection is not conditional, if they're capable of actually forming genuine bonds, showing genuine affection, um, if their I guess like entire attachment style is healthy, if they're able to prioritize the needs of other people just as they prioritize their own needs. I'm not saying more, you shouldn't do that, but just as much as they prioritize their own needs. If they're secure people, then it will be quite easy for other people to actually appreciate you, even when you do make mistakes. I think some of the oldest friendships that I've had, the longest ones, are people who have been, alongside me when I've just done the stupidest shit and had the stupidest crash outs as a result of it, and they're still there. And all I end up doing is regretting the version of myself that I was and feeling sorry for them that they had to go through that. But, I never feel sorry for meeting other people when they were at a lower stage of their lives. Instead, I just focus on my bros and think how cool it is, how far they have come, how proud of them I am. That is another value that I have. I try not to be too critical of people, and obviously the inner monologue that goes like crazy in me, as you might notice for the extended video. Obviously, we all think things to ourselves where we demean people in our heads, but the more that I try to be honest with other people and not make up small white lies and be honest with myself and not exacerbate things for attention, which is a bad tendency that I have, the less negative my thoughts also got. It's like the more evil you put out into the world, the weirder and more negative your thoughts subconsciously get, and they begin talking down other people as well as you. If you have a heart of hatred, if you really don't like other people and you're really unhappy, then eventually you will begin to dislike yourself. Um, the valid psychological explanation for that is just like negative thoughts influence negative beliefs and self beliefs and actions, and this is particularly something I struggled along with coming to university. But it's like it's true though. Like it's true. Like maybe in some spiritual sense also. Hmm. Like maybe like all of your personal thoughts and beliefs influence how you are. Like maybe there's a greater force out there, maybe, huh? That's looking out for for us in a way, I suppose. And making sure that we don't stray from the bad path. Um and seek to rid ourselves of these temptations and these seven, largest sins. Make ourselves whole again. Just I wonder what that could be. Like, imagine, dude, imagine if there was like one creator, right? Imagine if there was like one creator of the universe and he literally programmed the universe to reflect good into the lives of people who do good to others and encouraged us to be selfless through suffering for our sins. Ooh, in a resurrected body. Dude, that would be crazy. Someone should write a book about that. Anyways, that's all for this one. Stay consistent. Care for other people, have integrity, and have honesty. That's pretty much what I wanted to say throughout these 10 convoluted stories that I made throughout the video. Hope you all enjoy. If you want, subscribe to the channel. If you don't, don't. I'll post again in 1 hour or 1 day or 18 months from now. Alright? Unless I die. See you all. Bye bye.